At one point last year, Atlanta was labeled the murder capital of America. The Wall Street Journal gave Atlanta national publicity with an article about this city's homicide problems. There was speculation that Georgia Pacific would cancel the move of its corporate headquarters from Oregon to Atlanta. Tire salesman and would-be mayor J.K. Ramey put up a sign for all to see, reminding everyone of the city's losing battle with homicides and its problems with those who fight that battle. 2 murders, perhaps more than any others, brought the homicide epidemic into the spotlight. An Ohio doctor here on a convention was robbed and murdered walking from a restaurant to his hotel. A legal secretary was shot to death on a crowded downtown street at high noon by a madman. When it was all over, 231 people had been murdered in this city in 1979. That was almost 100 more than in each of the previous 2 years.
Oftentimes we find that the economy plays a role in all crimes, including homicides. You have unemployment as an example, you have increased anxiety, frustrations, and that's taken out, and often taken out on those who are the closest to the person who is frustrated, and that's what accounts for many of the homicides being people who know each other.
If 1979 had been a normal year, perhaps citizens would have raised the roof over this year's homicide figures. With less than 6 hours to go in 1980, it appears 198 people have been murdered in Atlanta. That is 33 less than last year. That is still a number that should have created almost as much of a stir as last year's, but it hasn't.
Last year, as you may recall, we went through the year with very little concern about homicides until one of our conventioneers got killed. And then there was an escalation of the concern about homicides in the city, even though we had had literally hundreds of homicides or scores of homicides before that. And then we had the young lady that was killed downtown. Again, the escalation of the news media concern about it. But the concern from the citizenry is determined to a large degree by the concern given to it by the news media.
Brown does not think this year's 14% decline in numbers is just luck. He attributes it to a more aggressive domestic violence program, a greater awareness of the crime problem on the part of the public, and stricter enforcement of firearm laws. A 14% reduction in homicides in 1980 over 1979 is at first glance an encouraging statistic, but 198 people were murdered this year, and that is nothing to be proud of. Commissioner Brown is concerned about the increase in stranger-to-stranger homicides, drug-related, robbery-related, all of which creates a good deal of apprehension as we wait to see what 1981 has in store. Marc Pickard, Action News.